Welcome to another edition of basschamps. Talk. I am so glad you're here. We've got a lot of information going on because while we're recording this, we're basically 2 weeks out from the world's richest one-day big bass tournament. You've heard us talking about it all year. We're just so excited about it, Mega Bass. So we have got all of the ways you can win in Mega Bass on this podcast. And it literally starts 2 days from when we're recording this podcast. So obviously you want to be the guy or girl who catches a massive over 24-inch fish. You win $15,000 for the hour. You win a new Skeeter 200 bass boat powered by Yamaha. You go home with a big prize. Or, new this year, you catch the biggest under. You play the game right at the tanks. You also win the hour. You get $15,000 and you win a Kubota Sidekick. So those are our two massive big prizes, along with $15,000 an hour.
I'll take that 15 grand.
Every hour for 7 hours. That's just insane. It's like fishing 7 major championships in one day. But to win Mega Bass, there are a lot of things you can do differently to go home with something in your pocket. It's only a $200 entry fee. And we're going to kick it off Monday, the 30th of March, with our 12-day countdown to Mega Bass. Now, what this is 12 days of early entry opportunities. Normally, what we do is a bunch of early entry drawings. You can just register anytime you want to online. You get entered into a bucket of names for an early entry drawing. We're going to do something a little different this year. Jeff and I have been working on this. We're going to do, it's kind of like Christmas because Mega Bass.
This is Christmas in April.
Christmas in April.
Yep.
So it's the 12 days of early registration for Mega Bass. Now, I know what you're thinking already. Hey, well, it's actually 14 days until the tournament. That's correct. But there's a cutoff for early entries. So every day we are going to have a post on our social media sites and a prize that you can win that day if you early entry that day. I don't know what the prizes are each day, but I do know we've got a ton of prizes. And the big one that Jeff has been working really hard on is the one thing that you need in this tournament. And what is that, Jeff?
That's a measuring board.
That is a pro rule measuring board
correct.
that goes to 24 inches.
That's correct.
And
The
later
big
in this
board.
podcast, we're going to talk about the proper way to measure the fish and tank etiquette and the tank game that you play and all of that stuff. But the one thing that we talk about more than anything is having the correct measuring board in your boat to make sure that fish is 16 inches or under, 24 inches and over. And the only board you want in your boat is that pro rule, correct?
That's right.
So while we were talking about, hey, what is the best thing to give away? Well, it is the official measuring board of Bass Champs.
Yep. So we're giving one of those away every day.
Every single day for this early entry drawing, you're not only going to have a chance to win one of those pro rule measuring boards, but there'll be another prize put in top of that. Now, I don't know what day the prizes are going to be, but I do know that Jeff was able to get some 24-quart Bison coolers from Classic Buick GMC of Arlington. Lake Fork Marina's thrown in some lodging there for in the future when you want to come down and fish Lake Fork. We've got Abu Garcia rod and reel combos. We've got Berkeley Big Bass grab bags. We've got an entry fee to Mega Bass 2027. We've got entry fees to the Berkeley Big Bass event in October. Just a ton of great giveaways. And the way that this is going to work is starting on Monday the 30th. Now, we're recording this podcast before the 12 days start. You may be watching this, after this has started. But from Monday, March 30th, all the way to Thursday, April 9th, we're going to have a giveaway each and every day. Now, when you register online, you're in a drawing for that giveaway for that day. And you will know the next day if you won it, which is really cool. And the neat thing about this, it's more of an opportunity for you to win because generally everybody waits to the very last early entry day to register. Now, if you register early, you see a prize you like, boom, you may have a 1 in 50 shot at getting that prize versus a 1 in 500 shot at getting that prize.
So let me get this straight, John. You're gonna show everybody the day before what the prize is, or how's that gonna work? I mean, we've got 11 days of giving. Every day is a pro rule plus an additional prize, which they're all great prizes. But are you going to show me the day before what you're giving away to tell me how we're going to do it?
I am not showing you the day before. At 6 a.m. Central Time every morning, 6 a.m. Monday morning Central Time, a post is going to go up, and it's going to say what that prize is for that day if you do your early entry that day.
For that day, before midnight,
before midnight that night.
I love it. So that's how the prizes are going to go. So you're going to find out at 6 a.m. And we're going to select after midnight, obviously, because we got to get all the entries in. It'll be random selection each day leading up to the event, leading up to the first official day of on-site registration. So that'd be the 11 days. I got it. All right, that's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what you put up there.
Yeah, and then let's say, Jeff, that you registered that Monday for that prize. And let's just say that prize is obviously a pro rule measuring board because that's every day. And it's the 2-day stay at Lake Fort Marina.
Okay.
Let's say you enter on that Monday. You'll find out the next day at 5 p.m. who won the previous day's drawing.
Cool. And then what we're going to do on our part, John, the great idea there is you'll just pick that up during on-site registration.
Yes.
So if your name's on there, we're going to have a list, show up with your photo ID, and we'll hand over the goods right there on site.
And really, Jeff and I had a long talk about this, and just the pro rule measuring board alone is worth registering early for.
Yeah, for a shot at that, yeah.
Because, those pro rule boards sell out fast around this time of year because everybody wants to have the official measuring board in their boat.
Especially a 24-inch board.
Yeah, 24. What did I say?
You said nothing wrong. No, just pro rule. I was just saying especially the 24-inch pro rule.
Because you don't want to be in a position where you've got an 18-inch board in your boat and you catch an over 24 fish and you're sitting there trying to do the math on if that fish is over 24.
Using a tennis shoe plus your 18-inch board.
Exactly. You got your thumb on there. Okay, this is exactly an inch and a half.
Hey, we laugh about that, and we could have a whole podcast on this.
But it happens in every single.
It's amazing the measuring devices that are engineered on the water.
Yeah.
To see it turn into problems.
And we're going to see a lot of overs because Lake Fork is still fishing. It's just fishing better than it has in decades right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of overs. We're also going to see a lot of really healthy unders. And we're going to talk about some game plans on how to maximize on those fish so that you can be a winner in Bass Champs. But the first way you can be a winner for this Mega Bass event is do an early entry, win one of those pro rules, win one of the prizes that are put along with it. Then you're guaranteed to have the right board in your boat. You get the early entry fee out of the way. You pick it up at registration. Boom, you're set and ready to go.
Yeah, real simple.
So let's talk about some of the other ways that you can win without being the overall winner. Tell me some of the other ways, Jeff, that we have.
I mean, as you alluded to early, so we have a Skeeter ZX200. We have the Kubota Sidekick for the biggest under. But there's 15 places guaranteed every hour. So every hour, 7 hours, $15,000, $15,000 for first place. Yeah. Not just for the hour total. That's first place. $25,000 for the complete hour. 15 places. There's one way to win. That's what is that? Another. I do my math real quick. I believe that's over 100 places paid right there.
And let's just put that in a little bit. Let's put that in just a little bit of perspective. You're fishing your regular one-day tournament where it's a 5-fish limit, and you're fishing. There's so many to choose from in North Texas, all across the United States. Normally, you're fishing for a top prize of not even $15,000.
That's correct.
Sometimes it's $5,000. Sometimes it's $25,000 if you're fishing Bass Champs.
Hey, when I win, it's like 1,000. So this 15,000 is huge for me. I love it.
And then the payback for that whole day of fishing may be 15, maybe 20. But what we're talking about with Mega Bass, which makes it so incredibly unique, is literally every hour for 7 hours, you're fishing a major bass tournament with $15,000 for first place, 15th place is $500. This is only a $200 entry fee, so you're already doubling your entry fee if you made 15th place. And that's every hour on the hour, and you just need one fish. It's just one cast.
One bite makes a huge difference.
So you're literally, like, if you fish a series of 7 tournaments, in this event, you're fishing a series of 7 tournaments in one day.
Right.
That's
one
crazy.
8-hour period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. You know, and that leads me to the next way. You said, how do we win? We've got the overall for the largest, the smallest under, or the largest under, 15 places an hour. Then we have the bonus card. We started this a couple years ago, and it's really cool. And we've kind of tweaked it. And I think this year I've got it to where I like it. So a bonus card, $20 bonus card. If it's going to pay 2 places guaranteed every hour, the bonus card, period. It doesn't have to be an odd, even hour. It's just going to pay 2 places every hour. And it's going to pay the highest finishers with the bonus card that are sitting in the 6th through the 15th place chair. The year before we did the bonus cards, it was very popular, except a lot of bonus cards went to first place, which nothing wrong with that, but you just won $15,000.
Yeah, you want to spread the wealth a little bit.
Right, and this was an extra $250. So a lot of first place hours at $15,250 if you look back at the results. So we looked at the money and thought, you know what? Let's start the bonus card at 6th place. So the 6th place has it in 7th. The 2 places will go to 6th and 7th. Let's say 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th don't have it. The highest place in that hour is 10th. Boom, first place bonus card. And the next person who has it's in 15th. So it'll pay the 10th and the 15th. So the highest 2 finishers between 6 and 15 every hour with the bonus card each get an additional $250. So that's an additional 2 places every hour that you have a potential to win.
So now you're at 220 and you got the bonus card.
Yeah.
That's a low, that is probably, I wonder if that's one of the lowest entry fees for that amount of money given away in one day anywhere.
Haven't done the research, but it'd probably be pretty easy to do.
Probably be pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at $220 and you've got $15,000 for first place, $25,000 paid through 15th place, and the bonus card that gives you an extra $250 if you're 6th place and lower, depending on who the highest finisher is with that.
Exactly. Yeah. We just shifted it down here. I mean, so you've got all those hourly places, you got the overall places, you got the bonus card. You opened with the Christmas in April. There's another 11 ways to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about winning in the next 2 weeks.
And just to put that into perspective, every one of those prizes for the 12-day countdown to Megabass that you can win on the day, all of those are valued at over $200.
They are. Yeah, we went through them really fast, but you're going to show them. But like, as you said, from coolers to rod and reels to 2-night stays, there's some unique stuff in there.
Yeah.
And you'll find out 6 a.m. Tune in every morning to Bass Champs. And
don't think that and there's strategy behind even playing that particular early registration game, because you're thinking, oh well, I'm going to wait till the last day because the last day is when they're going to give away the biggest prize. No, that is not the fact here. This is I don't even know. Jeff doesn't even know.
That's why I asked you how we're going to do it. I do not. I got the prizes together and I said, John, how are we giving them away?
And so I went to the internet. I found a random generator, and it's going to randomly generate it every morning. So I don't even so our friends can't call and say, hey John, Jeff, what's the best day to early entry? I can't do it. I can't be persuaded to tell you because I just don't.
Well, I see what's going to happen now. Now we're going to have friends that want to be the random generator, except they're not going to know what the number correlates to, so that's not going to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's cool prizes. If you're going to fish the event, sign up early. Get a chance to win again, because that's what we're talking about this morning.
Yeah. So we've got the 12-day countdown where you can win, and every one of those day prizes are valued at over $200, which is the entry fee. We've got the bonus card, which is an extra $20, which is an extra way to win. If you're 6th place or lower, you get an extra $250. We've got, obviously, 15 places guaranteed per hour with $15,000 for first place. A lot of ways to win there. It's just like there's so many ways to come away with this tournament with more value than you spent for it. It's just almost a no-brainer.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Questions.
Yep.
Obviously, leading up to this tournament, we've had so many questions. asked of us, and a lot of them are the same question, and we're going to go over all of these questions. A big reminder, which a lot of people don't realize, is Mega Bass is on a Sunday.
Yep.
So this time of year obviously is the most popular time of year to fish bass tournaments. All of those bass tournaments are on Saturday. So I've had a lot of people come up, man, I'd fish Mega Bass, but I've got my club tournament on Lake Tawakoni, or I'm fishing this over on Ray Roberts, or I'm fishing this, over on Chambers. Well, hey, did you know it's on Sunday, right? And they're like, oh, I just assumed it was Saturday. No,
That's right.
it's a
Don't
Sunday
assume.
tournament. So you can go old school, which I'm going to ask you a really interesting question here in just a second, Jeff. But you can go old school, fish your tournament on Saturday. Hopefully you won, get your big winnings, hop in the truck, put some fuel in your boat in your truck, grab a meal on the way to Lake Fork, and you can fish Sunday and win again. And not only can you do that, you don't have to be there on Saturday. You can come early Sunday morning. We'll get you registered, and now you're fishing 7 more tournaments that weekend.
That's right. Yeah, we have that Sunday registrations, big time deal. And really, John, Bass Champs host very few events. In 25-year history, we've hosted very few Sunday events.
Yes.
Mega Bass is one exception for what you just said. Look, we don't want to get in the way of anything else you're fishing.
Yep.
And we don't want to give you an excuse for a reason not to come fish Mega Bass. And 2 is our championship, right? Yep. It's a 2-day championship over a weekend. Really, the only 2 events.
Well, and Berkeley, Berkeley is a 2-day.
That is correct. Our other big bass event. Yeah. The only 2 events that we purposely schedule on a Sunday. And we can get into all the reasons why we don't fish on Sunday, but this podcast is all about fishing Mega Bass, and it is Sunday.
It is a Sunday event.
April 12th.
And my question to you is, because, you see a lot of these young guys fishing the tournament trails, with, very little responsibility. So they're doing that. They'll fish a tournament they'll fish a working man's on Friday night, drive to a tournament Saturday morning, drive to a tournament on Sunday.
Sure.
So I'm just curious. This is just a total side note. What is the longest drive you've done from one event to go fish another event the next day?
Me to fish or to host?
To fish. I know how many long drives you've done to host. I'm talking back in your youth when you were fishing.
They had a Fun and Son hosted an event on Squaw Creek, and I don't remember it was during the middle of the week, years and years ago. It was like on a Wednesday, and I was fishing the Potomac River. And I remember driving from the Potomac River. I don't remember how the days worked out. I've got a lot of gray hair since then. I don't remember how the days worked out, but it was Potomac River to Granbury to Glen. I got a hotel in Granbury, Texas, and then ended up at Glen Rose the morning of the tournament, thinking I was going to whoop everybody. I remember specifically, I think I caught 1 fish. It's probably about what I caught at the Potomac, honestly.
Dude, that was a drive.
That would be the longest drive I remember.
That is a drive.
Yeah, it was a drive.
Oh my! My longest one was I was doing a top 6 on Amstead, and hopped in the truck and drove all the way to Rayburn to fish a Bass Champs event.
That's a drive.
That's
Texas.
a drive.
Those who live here understand how big the state is, but you can spend a lot of hours driving across this thing, and we have over the years. But.
Yeah. I remember so well because I left. I did well in that. That's back when Amstead was fishing so well, and but my co-angler won it, so I had to stick around for a while to help my co-angler out. So I didn't get on the road until like 5 o'clock, and I can remember I just got behind a trucker, put it on cruise control, cranked the stereo really loud,
and rolled. No, we've made that all-nighter a lot of times from Falcon and Amistad back here to the home office. And one of these days, as I often say, the time for another conversation, we'll get some water back there and get back to that's some of my favorite areas.
I'd love to see those lakes fish again. So, but you can, fortunately, for some people in the North Texas area, that's not a very far drive to Fort, but there are guys that could be fishing because, people plan their vacations around this event because it's so good. So, there could be people fishing tournaments in Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, making that drive all the way down.
They do, and we see them Sunday morning a lot.
See them on Sunday morning. So that is just old school fun in my book.
Great question. You made me think a little here this morning.
Number one question always asked about Megabass, April 12th, Sunday. How, Jeff, do the hours work?
Yep, and that is that's pretty much it's right up there at number one question. So years ago in our big bass events, sitting around watching these events happen every hour, it's hourly big bass. Well, we'd watch everything happen for a complete hour. Well, the reality was that everything happened within about 1 or 2 minutes on the closing of the hour. So at the time, Chad and I sitting back there thinking, we're thinking, man, how do we let everybody's spending a lot of time up here not fishing, trying to figure out how the hours work. So we came up with an idea of, look, we're going to open the scales for 30 minutes every hour. It allows you to fish because, truth be known, the vast majority of the weigh-in happens, let's just be a little extra giving here, happens in 5 minutes. It really is less than that, but let's just say it's 5 minutes. So 30 minutes, so it gives you plenty of time. So what I'm leading at is our scales, you can make your first cast at Megabass at 6:30 a.m. The scales will open the first time, the first 25 grand given away is at 8 a.m. And the scales are going to open at 8 a.m. and they're going to stay open until 8:30. By scales staying open, you must be in line. It's easy. We have clocks. We have staff. You're either in or out, but that's all explained to you. Don't even worry about it. We got it. Just make sure you're in line with your fish by 8:30 if you want to weigh in that first hour. And then the scales are going to close. And then we're going to open the scales. John's going to get back on stage. We're going to open the scales at 9 to 9:30. That's going to happen the top half of every hour starting at 8 a.m. And it's going to start at 8 a.m. and it's going to end at 2 to 2:30. It will be our last seventh final hour. And people, we've got the radio going. We've got guys on the point telling you what the weight is. Well, if you pull up at 8:01 a.m. and say, hey, I've got a pretty good under, I want to know if it's worth my time to get out of the boat. Well, at 8:01, there's going to be all empty seats.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be. And I'm going to tell you, hey, right now, I don't know. Now, if you and I were fishing this tournament, my advice is we're going to show up on the 15s, not to confuse everybody, but we're going to show up at 8:15, pull up there, have plenty of time, no hurry, no running across gravel, barefooted, backwards to get to the stage. We're just going to pull up at 8:15. We're going to listen. Well, smarter than listening, John's already got on his phone, and he's already pulled up basschamps.com, and he's already gone to the live leaderboard.
Yeah.
So
or the live
you're looking right there as they weigh in. I don't even have to hear. We're just giving you more options. So my whole thought on this, I want to maximize your fishing day.
Yes.
And we can talk about the strategy on the big overs and all that, but just for maximize potential to make money and potential to fish longer, it's just, there's no need to sit up there. So if you show up 15 minutes early, you're going to know you're going to have a pretty good idea. Now, the beauty of this is, we're just talking the first hour. If you get into the second, third, and fourth, now we have history.
Yes.
And we don't have to log on. Just go to Bass Champs. You can watch the weigh-in. You can have the weigh-in going on your phone on the front deck of your boat, right?
Yes.
It's all live streamed. I mean, so there's so many ways to do this, and a bunch of people started doing that last year. Would watch they're fishing and watching McAlmont here weighing in fish. But if you get confused,
hopefully they're not watching. Hopefully they're just listening to it while they're
well,
fishing.
you're right. You know what same thing. But at the end of the day, the live leaderboard's also on the homepage. And let's get an idea. We're a pretty good ways away. We're on the other side of the lake. We're out there in front of the minnow bucket, Oak Ridge. Man, we got to make a run. Is it worth it? Well, I'm going to go back and look at 2 or 3. It's no guarantee. Hours change, but I'm going to go back and look at a few hours and say, hey, Johnny, right now at 2:10 has been getting paid every hour. And we've just weighed it on our scale, and we have a 225. Well, you know what? It's probably worth. We were talking about winning for the first section of this podcast. It's time to go win. Let's go collect some money and get our money.
So to recap,
I think that's the hours, how they work. That's the number one question, and we just are trying to make it to where you can fish the most.
Yeah, maximize your fishing time. So while you're out there
correct.
fishing, and Jeff just went over all of this, and I'm just going to recap it really quick. We got KMU. They're talking about it on the radio.
Yep.
So you can be listening to that on your radio.
99.9.
You've got the live leaderboard. You can pick it up on your mobile phone, click the live leaderboard. That's after the weigh-in started. And that live leaderboard, every time a guy weighs in, it populates that live leaderboard.
Hence live.
Within
That's
seconds.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you also have the live stream.
Correct.
So you can have that live stream in the background, and you can be listening to that audio, and you can hear live what's going on across those. And also with that live stream, if you want your family, friends, to see you weigh in, and you've got that big over in your boat, then you can say, hey, I'm weighing in a big fish, turn on the live stream. And you can go to Bass Champs website and click the link to go see that on social media and on YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways to know how that lake is fishing at that time to maximize your chance at having one of those 15 chairs.
That's right. And when you pull up, we still have people on PA system down there.
Yep.
Announcing on the bank what's going on. They're telling you where you're at on the minutes and seconds left, which is just GPS time. But sometimes you get excited when you pull up there. So we're reminding you that you might have to run because you got to be in that line before that hour closes. You don't have to be across scales, but you have to be in our official line.
Now, let's talk just a little bit of strategy before we get into more of the questions that are the most asked questions, because we're talking about this fish strategy right now. We're talking about maximizing the fish that you've caught. History would tell us that if you've got a fish that's under 16 inches or under, that's over 2 pounds, you've got a high percentage chance of getting one of those 15 chairs normally.
You do.
But you do have to be paying really close attention to that because of the way the lake's fishing. The lake's fishing really, really good right now.
It is.
But let's say both scenarios, and these apply to both of these. Let's say that we've got a fish that's over 24 inches. It's a nice fish. We've weighed it on our digital scales. We know that fish weighs 873. We've got another angler that's got a fish that's 16 inches or under, weighed it on their digital scales. That fish weighs 298. Well, a 298 could win $15,000.
Yeah, it should.
You know, when you put those fish in your bag and you come up to the weigh-in line, do you have to enter that weigh-in line automatically, or is there a waiting period?
Yeah, so this is the one event we have what we call this. So we have the official weigh-in line, clock, has a gate on it, everything. It closes on the 30s, as we discussed. But then we also have a complete set of different tanks. We call the decision tanks.
The decision tank. I want a big graphic. Boom! Decision.
Right. Well, there's a lot that happens in these decision tanks. Now, the decision tank, you're up there, but you are definitely not in line.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get a feel. It's the one tournament that it's worth taking the extra time to see what's happening, because a lot of big bass tournaments, man, there's nothing wrong with winning $1,500 in an hour for first place. But then maybe it goes to $1,200, but look, this is 15 grand for first place. I'm going to play a little bit of strategy, whether I have an under and over. If I just have an under, let's talk about that real quick. If I have a nice under, look, and I've already got out of the boat, it's not a 298, but it's a good fish. It's a money fish. Look, me personally, I'm not telling anybody else how to do it. I'm going to take that fish and come see you on stage.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I want to get through, get back out. Look, if I should get paid, if I get paid, great. If I just miss it, it is what it is. But I go fishing for an opportunity to come back and win 15 grand, a boat, a Sidekick, Kubota. I'm not going to do that with a 210 or a 220. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, I guess anything's possible, but it's not going to happen. So, but now I've got a 298 and a 10-pounder sitting in these decision tanks looking. Well, right now the 10-pounder, you know the 298, you got two choices. Get back in your boat and go fishing for a while. You can stay in the decision tubs and wait on the next hour. But it's in the simplest form, if there's a 10-pounder, and you said you waited, it was a 10-pounder. But more importantly, because as we run into this, the weight's important. But what's more important than the weight is the length. We'll have a fish we do every year that's a beautiful, let's just call it a 10-pound class fish. And I'll ask angler, hey, I'll ask 10-pounder. Man, congratulations. And then I'll ask the next question. Hey, what's it measure? I didn't measure it. 10 pounds. And I said, man, you didn't measure it. No, sir, it's 10 pounds.
This is why we're giving away a pro rule measuring board every day for 11 days.
That's almost a guaranteed that it's going to be 23 and 3/4 inches.
Yeah.
And it's terrible feeling for the angler. It's terrible feeling for me. I don't want any problems. I want you to have the best day of your life and win. But it's still got to measure. So, but let's just say the fish measures, the 10-pounder is always going to go up. Where it gets fun is when you get multiple overs. And, we stay out of the decision tubs. The decision tubs are there for the anglers to come up there, like we said, get a feel for what's going on in the hour, wait for maybe 15 seconds before the hour closes to step into the official line. But we've had all kinds of stories in that tub. And I'm going to give two real quick ones. Story one is there's two overs in there. Well, the one says, man, I weighed it. It's 10 pounds. The other guy says, I weighed mine. It's 9 pounds. So, man, I'm going to let you go. You got a 10 pounder. You're going to beat mine. I don't want you to come knock me out. Well, as the time clicks off, the guy walks across the line with 2 seconds to go. The line's closed. The 10 pounder goes in line. The 9 pounder stays in the decision tank. Well, we go back to the measuring problem. Right off the bat, the fish didn't measure.
Yep.
The 10 pounder gets taken back to the lake.
And the guy with a 230 just won $15,000.
Yeah, and then an under who's sitting over there already moved down a chair. He's already moving down. But here's the best one. This one I still will never forget. There's 4 overs in the tanks. And there's 3, and a guy walks up with the 4th and a scale. And nice guy, I'm just standing off to the side, says, hey, let's weigh these fish so we can all decide how to win 15 grand. What order we're going to go in. So the guy with the scale starts passing around. He starts weighing all these guys' fish, and that's a 880, that's a 920, that's a 950. And they all look at the guy with the scale and say, hey, what's yours weigh? I said, I'm not telling you.
I know.
He's got a black bag. And they're all looking at me, and I said, no, negative. This is where decisions happen. There's some strategy up there.
Yes, there is.
So and we'll have people up there explaining it to you, but we've had guys sit there with their fish on air for multiple hours. Sometimes
and these are, and just to clarify something, these tanks are oxygenated, medicated. This is the best place a bass can hang out in when you're.
That's right. If you're not going to go fishing, it's a perfect environment. It's just you got to make a decision, right? Because it's Lake Fork, she's finicky, but if she's firing off and there's overs, and you're sitting on a 7.5 or 8 pound over, man, you could sit up there, and I've seen it work. I've seen guys sit up there dang near all day and win 15 grand. Yeah. I've also seen them sit up there all day
and not
and get try to finally run out of hours, right? You got to weigh in.
Sit up there all day with an over to come in the second to last hour, and it didn't measure because they didn't have the right measuring.
Well, that happened, and I've seen them sit up there to the last hour, and I get it. Look, I don't know how many overs I've caught. True, in fact, I can count it on 0 fingers, me personally. So you catch a 24-incher, I get it. That's a big fish. It's a long fish. There's a lot of things that have to go right, and that's what makes this thing fun. But yeah, I've seen them sit up there to the end and get third for the hour and could have fished all day. Yeah. Could have got third for the hour they weighed in at. And so some of that strategy. You come in there with a 10-pounder. Come on. Dude, I say that, man, our team event really opened my eyes this year. That place is healthy.
Oh, my
It'll be real interesting. Somebody should still win an hour or several hours, I would believe, on unders. It's just how it works out.
Absolutely.
Which is cool. That's fun, man. When you start 2-pound fish, start winning $15,000. You talked about 7 tournaments, and I drive home saying, man, was it a 5-fish tournament? What'd you weigh? 222. Now I can win with 222, and I love it.
Well, in our event earlier this year, we had 5 fish stringers that were all unders that weighed over 11 pounds.
Yeah,
that's how healthy the unders are. We had more. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm going to walk out on a plank here, so don't hold me to this. But I think we had more 5-fish under stringers weighed in that fork event that we've ever had. That had the size, and I know for a fact that had the size and the weight, because when that first 5-fish limit of unders came across at 11 pounds, I said it on stage, we'll never see this again. And then we saw it 4 more times.
Oh, more than 4. I think it was 8 or 9. Yeah, it was a bunch. I don't remember now, but
that's just how good the lake is fishing right now.
And it's just how healthy the fish are. Yeah. We suffered a little on the drawdown. The lake's a little low now, but nothing like 7 foot for 2 years that we experienced. And all that brush grew up. We got the new lake effect. Somehow new lake effect turned into also some aquatic vegetation. And man, you put all those factors together, and we're really reaping the benefits of it. And it's a good time.
Next big question, and this leads us to everything that we've been talking about is, and we talk about this on every podcast, but it's always nice to have a really good reminder about this. And this is why we preach the measuring board so much. Yep. This is why we're giving away a measuring board every single day of our
just to
12
bring
days
awareness. Yep.
to mega bass. How do you measure that fish? And I'm going to preface this by saying there are a lot of measuring boards out there. And when you purchase that measuring board for the very first time, that measuring board is generally 100% spot on.
That's correct.
But the problem with so many of the measuring boards out there, unlike the Pro Rule, is they're lightweight and they have a tendency to get thrown around in the boat and they get a little bent. And
Yeah, they get a lot bent.
all it takes, I'm going to see if I can get this, all it takes sometimes is that much of a bend.
Yep. Yeah, it's the measuring boards are probably one of the most abused fishing products. I always make the comment every time you and I have this conversation. People spend all their time, effort, and money buying new tackle, working on the boat, and again, that's great. It's all needed. But the one thing everybody seldom, I can say this across the board, seldom will do is, I got a measuring board, I don't need another one. Well, a lot of times that's great, but we're at Lake Fork in a slot lake. And as you were asking, it's 16 inches and under you can retain. That's state law. Some tournaments don't they change that, but we go to the state law. It can touch 16, can't go up. Anything over it. So 16 inches and less, and it must touch 24 inches or be greater. And those are your two criteria. Anything in between must go back. And, we seldom have problems on overs. We really seldom. The biggest problem we have on overs is what you and I talked about earlier. It's weighed, it's all fist pumps, and it's thrown in the live well, and it's never measured. That's our biggest problem on overs. But I'll touch on measuring an over. If you have a partner in the boat, we need to talk about boats, but we'll get to that to wrap this thing up. But if you have an over and you have a partner, utilize your partner on over, because the biggest mistake, besides not measuring an over, is once you put that over on the Pro Rule and you close the mouth, now you start, the law is compress and swipe the tail. So you're over there compressing and swiping the tail, and you're looking for it to measure. The thing you forgot about on a big fish, that's a big fish, is you forgot about the mouth. So in the meantime, while you're over here compressing and swiping the tail, it was a 1/4 inch short. Well, pretty soon you're saying, well, she relaxed. She's touching. Well, no, what really happened, somebody looked back over here at the mouth opened.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, if you have at least two people in the boat, one person's job is just to watch the mouth. That's it. Just say good, 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 good. No, that's not good. Slide it back. Good, good. And then flip the fish over if you need to. Dip her off in live well one more time. Give her another measurement back and forth. Look, if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. The good news is we're ultra fair and firm on the way we measure these fish. If you have to let one go because it's just one little finicle over or under, depending on which line we're looking at, just know that no one else is bringing that fish in. Now, the real problem, and let's talk about this, that happens is on the unders, the 16 and under. Because when you're measuring that 24, you're up there looking for any possible way to make it go 24 inches. Mm-hmm. Well, psychology, the way your brain works with competition, money, all the good stuff happening, winning on your mind, you take that 16-inch class fish, and your brain, instead of saying, how long can we make it go, you start switching into how short can I make it go. It's never going to work good for you that way. So I tell everybody, measure your 24s just like you'd measure your 16s. And
or measure your 16s just like you would measure your 20s.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah. Sorry about that. But that's what gets everybody in trouble. They put that 16 up there and they make sure the mouth's closed. They kind of swipe the tail and they just give it a quick little, oh, it's perfect, man. It was just under. And they throw it in the boat and they come up there. And by the time I look at it, it's 16 and 8. Man, I can't believe it's 16 and 8. We measured it 3 times. But without confusing anybody, I always say it this way. And if it confuses you, I'm sorry. But I always say use reverse psychology on the unders. Put the fish on the board. You act like the fish must be over 16 inches.
Yes.
If you sit to weigh in, if you do, and that changes your mindset. So if you over there, man, I got to make this fish go over the 16-inch line. Well, if you do that and you can't make it go over the 16-inch line, that's the perfect fish. Bring it in and weigh in. You're going to be good every time as long as your board's not bent. Mm-hmm. But everybody goes with the other, or most, 80, 5% go with I'm going to do everything I can to make it go under. I mean, look, if it's a 15.5-inch fish, it's no problem, but we're talking about line burners. And I'm looking just to make your 24-inch fish. If I find one little part of that tail that touches the line, you're legal. Well, same thing on a 16 though. If I find one little part of that tail that goes over the line, you're illegal. So just take an extra second, slow down a little on both sides, the 24s and the 16s, but especially the 16s. Get you a really good measurement. And look, that's the frustrating part about it. I've caught them. Everybody's caught them. Just a ton of 16 and I'm not even going to call it an eighth. And guess what? You got to throw it back. But the good news is you don't have to wonder, man, I wonder if they're letting those slide. We're not letting them slide. I'm telling you, we are not. And so the common, and just know that man, that stinks, John. We had to let that fish go. Everybody had to let that fish go. Yep. And by the chance that you try to bring it in, I'm going to catch it. We're going to find it right there. And then it's going to, it's going to cost you more time and potentially some more money. And so let's not do it. Let's measure correctly. Let's get a good straight measuring board. We recommend the Pro Rule. It's thick. You talked about it. It's a great board. If you show up with another board, we have the Pro Rule. The exact board we're going to measure is sitting out. It's right there. You can bring your board up. There's no equipment. Man, I wish I knew how our board compared to theirs. It doesn't matter. Bring it up. That's what it's there for. It's going to sit out Friday afternoon during the registration. It's going to sit out all day Saturday.
Come check it.
There's going to be about 10 people check the boards.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's there. I can't do any more. I can't make you go bring your board up. I ask you to man, it's just peace of mind because it happens. You think, man, it's not going to matter. I'm either going to catch a giant 25-incher or I'm going to catch a 15.5. No, your first fish right out of the box before you even finish your first coffee is right on the line, and you want to know. But that's my soapbox for measuring.
That's how you measure a fish. If it's over 24 is easy.
Yeah,
you got to get over 24. It's those 16.
You don't have to get over 20. It has to touch 24.
Has to touch 24.
That's correct.
But the under 16 inches or under, that's the big key. And Jeff hits it on the nail. Hits the nail on the head every time. Pretend like it's got to go over 16. Try to make it go over 16. And if you're successful, that fish has got to go back.
That's correct. That's simple.
100%.
Yeah. We hit on something here. We were talking about boats in the middle of this, and you and I talked about this a little. It was one of the, when you asked me, hey, what's your number one question earlier, and we talked about how the hours work. But right up there with measuring and how the hours work is, man, that's a lot of boats, John.
Oh, I get that every time. Every time it's like, oh, I'm not, you guys get 3,000 people in that tournament. I'm not going out on Lake Fork when there's 3,000 boats on that lake.
That's right.
Has there ever been 3,000 boats in a Bass Champs?
Not even close. So
not even close.
I had that question came up on the phone just as you and I were starting this podcast this morning. And, so, all right, well, let's break it down. Let's use last year.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I use 1,300 competitors.
Competitors, not teams. This is single entries.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I said, let's just take that at just easy value and say that there were some singles and there were some triples, right? Because you can fish up to, cool thing in Megabass, you can have up to 3 registered competitors
and
not have non.
Yeah.
What's that?
In Megabass, that's popular to have 3 people in the boat.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And you can't have more than that. You can have down to 1, and you can't have non-competitors in the boat. So everybody in the boat has to be a competitor. But to make this conversation quick this morning, I just said, all right, we had 1,300. I said, at the very top of our list is 650 boats.
Yeah.
Because we had a few singles, but we had more triples than we had singles. So I said, you're really in the 500 to 550 boats over the entire reservoir. No, I heard you had 1,300 boats. I said, well, I run the tournament. I'm telling you what we had.
Here's the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, I said, I'm not going to, we never built this for 1,300 boats. I mean, we love big events, and we put a lot into it, a lot of thought, but we still like big fun events. And whether it's Berkeley or Megabass, we have this down on Lake Fork to where it's the right number of boats. It gives you enough room to fish. The parking's still good around the lake. It's not, 2-hour wait to put your boat in. The hassle's minimal. And I think the people that come and see that, yes, absolutely, they get it. It's the ones who just see the outside. They see the 1,257 anglers from across 32 states in the United, that fish mega bass. Well, that is true. Those were single competitors, but that's not single boats.
And the truth is, Lake Fork is fishing so good right now. It's not uncommon to have 500 boats on any given weekend on that lake.
That's correct.
I mean, even on the weekdays, I mean, it's just fishing so good right now.
It's a lot of fun.
All the boat ramps have multiple cars, trucks, trailers, all of that stuff because people are just having a great time going out there and fun fishing.
Yep.
I don't remember the last count on how many guides make a full-time living on Fork, but it's more than ever right now because so many people are fishing it. So it's not like 550 boats is anything that Lake Fork doesn't see on a regular basis.
I agree.
So it's not, you're not able, I love the post, and it's some keyboard warrior out there that, may have never fished a day in their life that puts on there, oh yeah, I heard you could walk from boat to boat to boat all the way across the lake. Yeah, well, that would be very difficult to put together.
Man, if that was the case, we could get cheeseburgers a lot easier. So. That's awesome.
That is a good question that people ask. It's just too many people on the lake. And really, when you break the numbers down like that, it's not as many people as you think.
Nope. It's definitely not.
All right, so what have we not covered so far? I know one of the things we did not cover is even an additional place to win. And that's the even weight bonus.
We've gone over so much winning this morning.
We forgot to talk about the even weight bonuses.
Oh, forgot all about it.
Yeah. Yet another way to win. A 2.5 pounder gets $500, a 3 pounder gets $500, a 9 pounder gets $500, and a 10 pounder gets $500. First even weights weighed in. I got to remember that when people are coming across the stage.
Yeah. Well, guess what? You don't have to remember. You need to just to be prepared, because when the person starts jumping up and down and yelling at you for a 250, and you're thinking, well, no, you're in 7th place, and they're reminding you, no, show me the money. Then you'll know.
Yeah.
4 more chances.
And the other thing I want to say is, that, and this is an interesting question that we get. Well, I don't have a Skeeter boat. Well, what kind of boat do you have? Well, I got a XYZ boat. Okay. Well, that doesn't matter in this tournament.
Not in this one.
You can fish out of any boat, boat that you have.
All boat brands are welcome at this one.
As long as they have a working live well.
Yeah, steering. Yeah, there's some rules. You need to go check that out. But yes, all boat brands are welcome at this event.
And here's a couple of things that are very important that you check before you fish mega bass, because we have a lot of people fish mega bass that fish tournaments every weekend, and that's what we're talking about. The guys fishing a Saturday tournament just drive on out to Fork on Sunday morning, fish the tournament. But we have a lot of guys that, and I'm in this group sometimes, and I like this group, that just like to fish big bass tournaments because there's so many ways to win. And this may be their first tournament of the year. Got to check that fishing license, especially if you're coming from out of state.
Yep, fishing license. And if we're going to go down this rabbit hole here, we do random boat checks.
Yep.
So, obviously we're checking everybody's fishing license, but we need throw cushions. We need life jackets. We need registration. We need fire extinguisher.
Yep.
We've had all these scenarios.
And that fire extinguisher has to be operating. They have a little gauge on those fire extinguishers.
It needs to be in the green.
Yeah, it has to be in the green. Yeah.
Yep. There's been quite a bit of money over the years over throw cushions, or a fire extinguisher. We got to have it.
And that's a good thing. That's just a good thing to check. It just gives you an excuse to check those things, because you don't think about any of that until you.
We're all guilty. We're all guilty about it, but we're going to check it.
Yeah.
So, if you might get a boat check and a polygraph between the randoms every hour and the winter polygraphs every hour. But we also do boat checks, and polygraphs are easy. Do everything right, you're going to have no problems.
Yes.
Boat checks are easy. Make sure you check your boat, have all the stuff, have it ready. Save yourself time, save everybody time, save my staff time. Just when we start digging through your boat looking for it, just put it all in one place and make it real simple, and your day will be extra enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm just going to do something that every angler should 100% do before they fish megabass. And that's go to basschamps.com and do what? Pull up the rules.
Yep.
And that is a big deal, and it's worth, especially, if you're driving out to the lake. One of the reasons why we do this Doc Talk podcast is when you're driving out to the lake to fish the tournament, it's real easy for you to hop in while you're in the truck with your partner. You can put this on in the audio in the background and get a bunch of great reminders. So while we're on this topic, I just pulled the rules up, and because this is another question that we get quite often, and all of this is answered in the rules. Hey, all of these guides on Lake Fork, are they all fishing the tournament? Not if they've guided in the last 90 days, they're not.
That's correct.
That's in the rules, and that's a question that we get a lot. Are the pros fishing this tournament because you're giving away so much money? It's amateur anglers only. Any angler that has fished in a tournament that has a entry fee greater than $2,500, you can't fish it.
That's correct.
This is an amateur only event. Has the registration times on there. Here's another big one. Tell me about the off limits, Jeff.
There's very little off limits, and you're right, John. It's in the rules. The real off limits is Saturday evening before the event at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. It says for the purpose of fishing or locating fish. The lake's off limits again until 4:30 a.m. the next morning. At 4:30 a.m. the next morning, you can leave wherever your dockage is, whether it's at a marina, just the boat ramp. You can make your way out. Electronics from 4:30 to first cast at 6:30 may only be used for navigation.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and it's caught some people, and we ask it. You have that 2-hour period. We want you to be safe, but we also don't want you to be looking for fish. You need to know where you're going if you're going to leave the ramp before first cast. Or, have an idea where you want to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the off limits is real simple. Guide rules 90 days, no pros, the pro definitions and the rules. It's at basschamps.com right now. We're also going to have rules ever, handout copies. It still amazes me. At registration, I can try to force you to take a copy of the rules and
people get upset with us here. Take this. Oh, I don't need it. Oh, take that.
Yeah, that's right.
We're really doing our best. When you catch that fish of the lifetime, when you make that one cast that can change your life, we want you to take that money home.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when people start questioning themselves. Man, I wish I'd read that rules, that package of rules that John gave me. Man, it takes 5 minutes, and I'm a slow reader, so it's just it's important. Look, when we hand you those rules, we're not just. Man, it's good. I carry one in my back pocket the whole weekend. Why not just reference back to them instead of just try to guess what they are?
Yeah.
But yeah, prior to if you get to this point in the podcast and going down the road, yeah, when you get to where you're going this evening or one of these next 12 nights, pop open basschamps.com and click rules at the top header, and it's going to ask you which set of rules you want. You want the mega bass rules? Click on them. Spend 5 minutes reading them. It'd be great. And then when you get to the tournament and we hand you a hard copy, be great. Read them one more time. Simple insurance to make sure you have a great day.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at boat and horsepower regulations right now because we've had people fish this big bass tournament in a pontoon boat, but it had a working live well.
It did.
And they won.
They won money. Yeah, man, it's fun. It's one cast.
It's so good to go over those rules just to have them fresh in your mind so that you have no doubt whatsoever when you make that one cast and catch that fish of a lifetime, that when you go to the polygraph, you're going to have, no worries whatsoever.
Yeah, no worries at all. That's how we want your day. We, like you said earlier, we wanted you to win. We want you to win. We want no reason for you not to win. We're obviously we have to look for it, but we never want to go down that path. We
never want to go down that path. So to recap everything, I'm looking at my calendar to make sure I'm right. On Monday, March 30th, starts our 12-day countdown to the world's richest bass tournament, which is Christmas in April.
Yep.
If you are a bass fisherman, every day we're going to have a random prize come up that you could win if you register on that day. One of the reasons we did this is obviously to, promote the tournament, but another reason is if you register that day, you have better odds of winning that early entry drawing.
That's correct.
And you have until 11:59 that night, and then the next day we'll draw that drawing, and you'll find out who the winner is that next day. That starts on Monday, March 30th. Goes all the way. Now, the last day of online registration, your prize there is you can win $15,000 for first place if you have the biggest fish of the hour.
Gotcha.
So we're giving away 15 places per hour guaranteed. That means if it's cold, wet, and windy, we're still giving away $15,000 an hour for first place. And we're still giving away $500 an hour for 15th place.
Yep. We've done it through snow.
Yep.
We've done it through Chamber of Commerce weather. We've done it through wind. The tournament goes on. I mean, we're 2 weeks out. I'm not even honestly looking at weather, but it's a good point.
It's too big of an event to reschedule.
It happens. I mean, let's put it, last year was about 36 degrees and raining sideways, and there were a lot of happy people that walked.
A lot of happy people
money.
because the worse the weather. I've said this 100 times on the podcast. The more challenging the weather conditions are, the better chance I feel I have to take one of those 15 places home.
Yep. Yeah, just how you got to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, the weather.
I prefer Chamber of Commerce weather, so that's what I'm hoping for in 14 days. But the weather outlook doesn't go that far, and I don't trust it more than about 3 days anyway. So we can talk about that in about 12 days.
About 12 days, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, no, yeah,
But regardless of entries, if only 500 people sign up, we're still giving away $15,000 for first place.
That's
$500 an hour for 15th place. We're still giving away a brand new Skeeter ZX200, and we're still giving away, which is new this year, new for 2026, a Kubota Sidekick for the biggest under. So much money on the line. We've got the bonus card for an extra $20 that pays the highest finisher from 6th to 15th place, the highest two finishers, right?
That's right. Two
finishers.
finishers. Yeah.
We've got our even weight bonuses, 2.5, 3, 9, and 10 pounds. That's an extra $500. So many different ways to win on April 12th, which is a Sunday, not a Saturday. And there is no hardcore off limit. So if you're coming from out of state, you're coming from Oklahoma, Alabama, Wisconsin, Tennessee. We've had people come from Alaska. I think they flew in and fished with a friend of theirs that had a boat down here. You can fish Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can get a feel for the lake. You can run all of the boat lanes. You can, you can understand what the patterns are and be set up for a beautiful day to fish on Sunday. So many different ways to win, and that's why we called this "How to Win Mega Bass," because a lot of ways to win. Now, I'm going to throw a curveball at you, Jeff. We talked about giving a prize away for this if people commented, liked, and shared. And so I've picked a prize. I'll pay for it out of my back pocket. It's a simple.
Well, that's good because I've rounded up all of our prizes for our Christmas in April. So I was like, "Hang on, John.
We don't have.
What do you got? What? This is John McCalmont's giveaway. What do we got here, Johnny?"
So, if you're going to fish this tournament, comment down in the comment section. Share it with your friends. Tag your partner. Do all of those things, and we're going to pick 2 people out of all of the comments down there.
Okay.
To get a free bonus card.
Wow. All right, man. This is great. This is
free bonus
Make
card.
sure I'm making a note here to collect from John.
Collect from John the $40 for the free,
I love it.
2 free bonus.
So you're going to have to comment, like, and share this.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that way we'll get some. And if you made it this far in the podcast, which this is probably, these podcasts are our longest podcasts. We like to keep these things short and sweet, but so much good information to go over.
This may be the longest one we've ever done.
It is going to be now the longest podcast we've ever done.
Yeah.
And so if you made it this far in the podcast, this is a massive way to get a free bonus card because it will be.
Right.
Most people didn't make it this far, so there's not going to be a lot of comments. So comment down there. And we'll do a drawing and we'll post that up on the social.
I love
media,
it.
and you guys can come and grab your bonus cards because that could be a little extra money for you.
Yeah. I love it, and I can't wait to see in a couple days the first 6 a.m. post.
The other thing is, if we did not cover a question that you have, about Mega Bass April 12th, put that down in the comments. Ask the question right there before you get here. And the last reminder is all day Saturday, Jeff, myself, John Bragg, everybody at Bass Champs will be on site at Lake Fork Marina to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to A, get you registered, B, answer any questions that you have.
Yep, we're there. There's no reason nowadays, like you said, to not have your questions answered.
Yeah.
So we're there for you.
Yeah, I would love to see 50 people come check their measuring board, even if they own a pro rule.
Man, I would just be happy to see 20.
Yeah,
But it's crazy that they don't, and it is what it is.
yeah. Well, I'm excited, Jeff. I know you are too. We're so close to the world's richest one-day big bass tournament, Mega Bass, and it's always an incredible event. Of course, we'll be live streaming it, so you can tell all your family and friends to watch you weigh in at the event. It's going to be one of those events for the history books, and I say that only because Lake Fork is fishing so good. This could be one of the biggest weigh-ins we've seen at Lake Fork in a long time.
I believe we're getting ready to have a heck of a podcast to discuss that after. Yeah.
That wraps it up for this episode of How to Win Mega Bass, Bass Champs Doc Talk. Start looking at registering on March 30th. We've got our 12-day giveaway coming up, and we look forward to seeing you at Lake Fork win lots of big prizes, because there's lots of ways to win. April 12th, Lake Fork Marina, Lake Fork fishing better than it ever has been. We look forward to seeing you there.